Hello, good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Evening, Big Chief. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. I couldn't hang on to that trade for 2 hours, though.
What? Come on. Come on.
I had stuff to do.
That was like the perfect day of like set it and forget it and walk away.
I just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
I'm
ran out
not
of
there
contracts
yet.
anyway. I ran out of contracts when we got around 77. That was it. I was like, well, I don't have any more bullets and I'm definitely not getting in at this point. Yeah, it was a great day. Um, let's see who's all here. I got Jay, Jonesy. Okay. So what I want to do, I want to actually revisit, because obviously you and I chatted, Big Chief, just momentarily in the room. I think it was really, you guys are kind of reminding me of the timing, but I feel like it was somewhere, after we had hit the first target of the second scenario. And you and I were chatting about like, what to do. Like, well, going long here, it's just one of those things, right? It's like the further it goes away from the original entrance, it feels like the risk reward just kind of starts to get. It's not that it feels like it; it is, right? Like it's the distance between now first target and second target, or the distance between second target and third target. So it's no longer that we're taking full advantage of it, off of a decision point, or certainly it has to hold. Um, so I remember you and I were just chatting. I said, "Well, shoot, only thing left to do really is to see what happens here at the rubber band." So I was curious, especially given that you were here for the last time we talked about this. Did you take it short? And if so, what did you base it off of?
Hey, George.
Yeah, I took short at the rubber band. I watched the 1 minute, a second candle closed exactly on what was, I think it was a hurdle that was there.
Mhm.
Uh, and it just was kind of messing around. And I thought, well, I'm just going to put my short in it at the rubber band, and it took it.
Mhm.
And then it parted around for.
Yep. Looks like 10, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, about 30 minutes. Yeah.
Hey, George.
No, I got a couple points out of it. My ATM moves my stop down, and it did stop me out like at 12:40. So
Okay. Sorry, Bob. What were you saying?
We're streaming to YouTube, so if you could zoom in a little bit, that'd be good.
Oh, I sure can. Matter of fact, let me grab this chart here since we're talking about it. All right. Well, cool. But I guess nevertheless, so you just took it pretty much on the face value of the rubber band, right?
yes,
Okay. Awesome. And it's good though, because again, you didn't do it based on thoughts or feelings. It was what we talked about last time, like price is price. If you're needing some kind of confirmation, then the 1 minute chart is something to look at. But I already pulled it up. What I wanted to look at with you guys is back here at the 935 bar today. Same concept, same rules, same principle. It's just the question of where would you get in, right? So in the one hand, you can, as always, step out in front of it and just take it on the chin if it kind of blows up and goes against you. Or I already pulled it up. I want to show you this. So this is the time frame right here that spike dip occurred on a 5 minute candle. Okay, everybody sees that pretty clearly.
yeah,
Okay, so looking at that and remembering what we had said last time, where would you need to get in? Or where would you get in based on what we discussed? And do you remember what we discussed? I guess we can start there.
My memory escapes me.
Okay. All right. So let's go back and fill in what isn't actually there on the 1 minute chart. Because again, if you got a chart cast, it would fill in for you. So we had has to hold down here at 20.5, and you had expected low here at 24.75. Okay. So here we are. 1 minute chart.
Okay.
We know the key levels, right? We know where they're at. Check. Got it. There's your 20.5. And here's your expected low, 24.75. Okay. All right. So has to hold, as we have stated many times, does not mean it has to go there. Just means it has to hold. Period. Therefore, if it holds, then we're good. Now, we also know that this is expected low. So really the only way to look at this from a very, just open-minded position and just, accepting what is, like I didn't put expected low there. The algorithm did, and damned if they didn't do a pretty good job at it, right? I didn't put has to hold down here. Price action did. So the only way you can really look at this is you just see it as a zone. You don't see it as necessarily like a set level. And this doesn't apply every day, right? Because what if expected low is down below it at like say 69.18, right? It's the same theory. You just, block it off below you, not above you. So really, if I just look at it as a zone, and then we take into practice what we had talked about the last time, when you're trying to, this is applying specifically to those who are saying, I need a little bit of confirmation. I just want some additional confirmation because maybe the individual trader is just not willing to step out in front of it, no matter what I say. Okay. So here it is. So does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you remember what we had discussed?
The candle after that large
So the one that touches it. So you always look for the candle that actually touches whatever that price is. So where's price? We know that. So we got price. It's a zone, but nevertheless, it did get there, right? It touched it. So it's the next candle that closes above price at the body. So body's here. Okay.
Order submitted.
So where in that scenario, where in that thought would you get in?
The very next candle.
Yeah, as soon as what? As soon as it closes. Right there. Okay. So it closed because you always have to wait for the close. But here we're talking about 60 seconds. So we're not waiting that long.
We're not talking 5 minutes. Yeah.
Right. We're not hanging out for very long. It's as soon as the thing closes. So here you are. And again, I'm not handing out guarantees. I'm just handing out price support as it correlates back to, price action just on a much smaller time frame. So yeah, it's not like a guarantee. But again, we keep coming back to this, and I keep showing you the same stuff. So it's not that it's a bad trade. It's just something you have to watch because I'm not going to. I'm not watching the 1 minute chart. but you can flip over to it because again, ChartCast will show it right on your 1 minute chart. Like it'll do this, it'll show you the has to hold. It'll show you where expected low is if you have the core turned on, etc. So it's like you're not lost. Like you still have it there. So yeah, so here it is. You come up and it closes officially at 36. You immediately have your limit order just kind of waiting and waiting and waiting. Bam, you're in. You get in. Let's say you get in pretty much darn perfect. You're at say 36 quarter, 36 half. So what's your drawdown in this scenario? It draws down to 33. So you're still going to have, again, in this context, right, in this move, in this day, in this price action, et cetera, you're still going to have a 3.5 point drawdown using the I need confirmation strategy on a 1 minute. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Now, and again, it's just the way I view it. If this is what an individual needs, it's just a theory that you can use. The way I see this, and I say I got in at 36 half.
Order submitted.
When I knew I could have gotten in at say 25 half. That's 11 points. That's how I see that. I look at that and go, holy crap. I gave up the opportunity for 11 points. When, same theory in mind, had I simply, and you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. You're doing, I think, Big Chief, probably one of the better jobs in the room of most people layering in. Because again, if it's a zone, it's an opportunity to layer as opposed to just, if let's say you're trading with 5 contracts and just putting all five contracts on here at the top, you can do, 2 or 3 here or 3 or 2 here, right? Great. If it gets you all, because it dips all the way down to the bottom, it's the same risk. It's the same risk to reward, to stop loss, all of it's the same. So if I got in here, again, call it 25 half, and it's a 5 point drawdown to go from here to here. But that's what's interesting about this trade is that it's known, right? It's a known space. You don't know. I mean, you look at this candle here at, 9:30. Nobody knew that candle was going to happen in this fashion, in this order, in this price action picture. Nobody knew that was going to happen. But looking back at it and just saying, well, shoot, it has to now overcome that, right? It's got to overcome it to get this, confirmation it's needed to say, okay, it really isn't going to go through here. And then it did actually finally close above. So that's a great example of, again, what a faster moving market looks like on a slower time frame, or sorry, a smaller time frame. You're still doing the same comparisons. And if you do the comparison there of saying, well, again, I'll stick 2 contracts on or whatever, 3 contracts on here, and I'll put another 2 or 3 contracts on here, you still got picked up, right, with way less total number. But it was just off to the races after that. Like that was the whole day right there, just gone. Never even thought about coming back. So there's that. And then let's look at the same theory. So let's find out what time of day it was. I'm just going to look at this.
I just layered in. I had 2 points above has to hold, and then another one that has to hold, and then a larger one just below. Again, 2 points just in case it. That's how I set it up, but it did perfect. It didn't get me at all.
Okay, so you were totally down here at the has to hold. Yeah. Most everything was down here. Okay. So I guess if you use this right here that we're showing, again, we're still basing it off of what is the fundamentals of the market levels that they have to hold and so forth. But if you use this theory, you still would have gotten in.
Yeah.
And then in addition, like even from here, 36.5, the peak of the very first move was at 42. I don't know if we had anything that we were even discussing in the 40 zone. Let me think. Oh yeah, we had POC. POC was right here at 43. So you'd have been taking profit anyway. So
George,
either
are
way,
you
that
still
would have
going
worked
through
out.
George, are you still going through this with Big Chief?
Kind of just everybody. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to interrupt. When you started a Chartcast, did you have an original has to hold that was a little bit higher, and then you moved it based on price action and it not getting the targets this morning?
There were two. Let me look here.
But there was before there were two. Did you have an original one a little bit higher, and then when you moved forward with churning to red?
Let me look.
I'm just asking because I had originally placed a contract, right? And then I had moved on, making my coffee, taking my dogs out. And then I came back, the room's not open yet. It's nowhere close to, 9:20, and you had moved them. So I was like, oh crap. So I quickly moved my entry points. And so I was just going to ask you that. And you guys all know who were in the room that I, thought I was trading my prop firm, but I was trading my sim. So my whole day kind of jacked up. But like Big Chief, once you move things,
I had that because I had the 20.5. That was
yeah. I feel like you had something around 30 before you came with the aggressive. So I feel like you had something higher up.
That was after the fact. So that was all after the big move up. We did put in a has to hold after the fact. So after it climbed above decision.
No.
Let's go back to our thing. We did do that.
This would have been at 8:00, 8 something. There was something that then got moved. So it's all right.
It's possible. Yeah, it's certainly. I don't have it in my notes for whatever reason. So maybe if I did, I may have recognized my mistake and moved it or took it off or something.
It may have been after. It may have been something where after it reached the first rubber band of that short scenario, that thing was gone, and it could have been that, And so then
that's a great point. I may have done that.
Yeah, and that could have been it. And so that was my original, entry. Then I moved that to your has to hold, but I did place a contract higher up than I usually would, and it was just on that price action over on the side. I said, okay, I'll put something in, but I didn't put very many contracts there because we had the secondary has to hold lower. And then I did place a contract in on aggressive, and that one got taken out on the stop because it just pushed so low. So I started the day out red down, $250, $300, and then that one contract that I had a little higher up at the doji and the other two candle closes from what was that 536 area, 545 area. That contract brought me back to positive, but it was all in sim. I was so bummed. I thought I was going to make money on my prop account. So that just ended my whole day, and then, type of deal in the sense of I could never get into sync again. So.
Yeah, I've had those days. You're just like, it's good to recognize it too. You're like, I've lost whatever synchronicity I had with the market is gone.
Yeah. So started out a loser, and then
it's very possible as I did start chart casting this morning somewhat early. So it is probably possible, and I was to your point, I'm sure I was doing it for the sake of the fact that we hadn't reached first target.
Yeah.
So I always like people to know that kind of stuff so they're not caught off guard.
Like, I was great. I just, I set my chart up, set everything up. I walked off to get coffee and do something with the dogs. And Mac was like, what the heck? Why did I pick that spot? And I quickly moved everything. And then I looked at my notes and I was like, I picked a has to hold, but something happened while I was gone. So I'm glad I came back fast enough. And
we've talked about that even today as it climbs. So again, this was the decision point here at 54 half, 54 quarter, to get into this next whole series, right? And as it was making the climb, it got above rubber band, started to come back. I remember posting at that time here at 10:30, just as like a reference. I was like, hey, just FYI, they can come all the way back to the top of the 9:30 or something like that. I'd have to go back and find it again. But I remember just letting you guys know, I was like, it could come back all the way to the top of the 9:30, even like a point or two inside of it. Because again, that was the has to hold. And that's how they do it. That's how they operate. So it's anybody's guess as to whether or not they're going to go back and tag it. But I just don't ever want people freaking out when it goes from here at, 69.70 all the way down to 69.37, we'll call it. Like, no, man, it just went on sale. Like, you need to go pick up as many as you can because we're still heading up to first target. All right, so back to that. So, I was going to look at the time frame. So we hit the rubber band right about 12:05. So let's look at this right here. This same principal concept. Let's take it out to 12:05. Again, this is specific to those who are just looking for a little bit more confirmation in the direction of the market. And again, this is not a bad thing, but I do want to point out the pros and the cons of it. So, like we just talked about on the downside, the con is that just again, it's price action that you don't know until it's done. Like it's already happened. So, the con to that one is one, it ran up whatever 10, 11 points higher than your best possible entry that you could have gotten, and then two, it still went into drawdown, nothing severe, like 3 points. But even that, like going back to that earlier one, you still have to mentally prepare yourself for it's still going back all the way to, the has to hold and or the like expected low in that case. So again, you have to be aware. You got to be prepared. You got to know what's going to happen. All right. So this one was at 98 was the official number that we gave in the morning for rubber band. So here we go. To the tick. Look at that. Amazing. It's like magic sometimes. How do we do it? All right. So here we are, Big Chief. Let's try it again.
Okay.
Which time frame actually hit the rubber band?
Well, there was a hurdle there just a little bit before that, and so the OG candle and the one
Yep.
before that touched that.
Yep.
What it wasn't giving
I forgot about the hurdle. Crap. Sorry, I lost Ninja a little bit ago. I had to reset. I lost the hurdle. It was at 96.75, I believe. Yeah, it was. There we go. Let me put that back in here. Yep, there we go. All right, so we had the hurdle. All right, we're back on track now. So let's go put that in, and then use what you were just saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the doji and that candle before were just touching the hurdle, I believe. Weren't they?
There's the hurdle.
Okay. It didn't give me I wasn't like sitting here going, oh, okay. Is it gonna, short right there? So I decided to put my short.
Well, here, let's look at
We're at 12:05. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, let's avoid any kind of thought and feeling. Let's just look at what is. There we go. There we go. All right. So there's our hurdle. When did it first touch it? Right here at 11:53. See that?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, it's not about thoughts and feelings. It's when did it happen? It happens when it happens. Yeah, we can't time the market. That's literally impossible. So you can only work off price. So here we are. We've hit it. So with the theory in mind that we just explained on the downside, would you have gotten in short on anything off of this first touch of the hurdle?
No.
No. So there you go. It just saved you some heartache. Now it has now done basically the same thing it did on the downside. So it wicked up pretty hard. So 96.75, and it wicked all the way back. Oh, again, I guess these aren't big numbers. They look like huge candles. They're not. So it only went about a point and a half down, right? It would have not needed to have gone below 94.5. So it would have needed to have gone down 2 points. That's not bad. I look at that and go, that's not bad. Even if this thing does close down below, I'm getting in only 2 points worse than what could have been the best possible entry had I stepped out in front of it. You start looking at that as an option, you're like, that's not bad. 2 points? Okay. The one on the downside that happened at 9:30, it having gone up 11 points, 10 points, it's uncomfortable, to say the least. So anyhow, didn't happen. So again, you would have done nothing. You'd have just sat on your hands. The level's still the level, price is still price, all right? Still the hurdle. That's what you're, as far as what I'm hearing you, that's what you're still focusing on. You're kind of focusing on both, I assume.
Yeah.
A little label. The other one, like bonus, rubber band. Here we go. So that's rubber band. All right. So it goes up, touches the hurdle again here at, what is this? 11:58. Okay. So you would just simply, like we were kind of describing on the other side, you would look at the opposite end of the candle. So here's the open of the candle. And you could put a line there yourself. You can just visually recognize it, whatever. Right?
Okay.
So here we are. Which candle closes below that line? It's a big red candle, right?
Yeah.
Okay. At the point that it closes at 95.5. Because you can't do anything until it closes. If you do, you're not really, if you jump in before a candle, especially when you get down to the 1 minute, if you're trying to do this from the theory of I'm needing some confirmation and you still end up jumping in ahead before the candle closes, then you're not really asking for confirmation, right? Like that's not really what you want. Not sure what you want, but that's not really what you're asking for. So anyhow, it closes at 9:55 and you just jump in. That's it. And then what does it do? Comes up, goes against you 1.25. No big deal. That's real simple. And then it drops, puts you 2 points in the positive. It's not great. And again, this is all hindsight, right? Like nobody knows it's only going to go down 2 points in your favor. Fact of the matter is, at least it went in your favor. I think that's like the best way I can kind of explain that. And then if it comes back against you, hopefully you got your stops in place, maybe just a tick out ahead of you and you didn't lose any money at the point. It still went in your favor. You had it covered with stop loss and it didn't take you out or didn't take you for any loss. And then here we go. We go up again. Then we get really close to the rubber band. But again, you don't know, right? Because again, this is all just a bit of a zone. And I'm trying to just lay out like ideas within inside of a zone. So here we are again. We get another high. But it's a doji. I like dojis. Dojis are excellent from just a price action standpoint because it literally means indecision. They don't have enough to go up. They don't really have enough to take it down. It's indecision. So here you are. It doesn't quite touch, but then what does this candle do? right here at 1204. It closes well below it. It even closes below the candle before it. This is really good, right? Not only does it close below the candle that got into the zone or touched the line, etc., but it literally closed below the candle before that. So this is good news. So same thing all over again. So where does it close, right? Here we are closing at 96 quarter. And you're sitting there thinking, well, here we go again, right? And so you do. And you go in again. And what does it do immediately? It goes against you, point and, not even like 3 ticks. Goes against you, call it a point. So at least that's less than the last time. And then once again, here we are. We go back down and we go from the 96, call it 96 quarter, 96 entry. And again, it goes 2 points in your favor. Not a lot of points. I don't know, maybe you took profit, maybe you didn't. Either way, you got enough time. There's enough time here that it's elapsed that your stop should be in place to prevent you from getting hurt. And then here we go again, right? And it's the same deal. So even if it came up and touched the hurdle on this one, which it did at 1212, did it close below it? No, it did not. Then you get a wick candle, another doji. Did anything close below that? No, it did not. Then you get this candle here at 1213. Now it's officially touched rubber band, right? Like finally now, we finally got there. And then this candle, does it close below it? Nope, it basically bottoms out exactly the same spot. You basically have nearly twin engulfing candles. And then here at 1215, it closes again, and you jump in again. And you see how this is just going to keep playing out when it just slows down like this?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know this. Nobody knows this. Nobody has a clue that it's going to go sideways from 11:58 to 12:20. So for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, it just went sideways.
25.
But if that's I'm just thinking, if that's the trade plan, right, that I'm not going to step out in front of it, I want some kind of confirmation. In each one of these cases that we've just laid out, one, it touched and it never closed below the previous candle when it hit the hurdle. So there's no action. You did nothing. You took no action whatsoever. Next one got up into the zone, closed below, went in your favor, couple points. Did you take profit? I don't know, right? That's up to you. But your stop is in place and you shouldn't have taken any loss on it. It went in your favor enough points that the stop should now be in place. You should be fine. That's first attempt. Second attempt, same results. Third attempt, same results. And then here we are, finally, we kind of make our way eventually to the fourth attempt, which again, you can kind of see where this might be a little tiring. I told you this the last time. I was like, you can do this, but remember, it just takes more effort because it's a 1 minute chart.
Yeah.
And you have to just stay on it. Every time it does it, you got to do it again. If you're convinced or convicted enough, which this is pretty convincing and it's pretty good conviction here because we haven't really broken anything. The zone's still intact. Pretty good conviction. Anyhow, fourth attempt. And this is where it, oh. Anyhow, I lost something there. Can everybody else see my screen?
Yes.
Huh. Yeah, I still see your screen.
Move your mouse, though.
Well, yeah, but oh, wow. Okay, my internet here just got weird. Okay. All right,
Yeah,
we're back.
We can see.
So here we are. So here is where, in my opinion, this is where it gets a little interesting because I'm looking at the candle patterns here on the 1 minute and I start making arguments with myself. I'm like, that's in the zone. Did it close? No. Okay, no. And then this one wicks even higher. And then here we are. That's the one, right? And then you got to get in here because now it's gone back to the zone again. Now you're in at 95 quarter. So, and again, none of this is bad, right? Like everything is within a 3-point range here. Like these look huge, but these are all like really close together. So here you are for like the last attempt, maybe, I don't know, but you're in at 95 quarter again. It goes in your favor, another 2 points. You see where this becomes a bit of a mess, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Nothing changed. Like if you step back and you just look at it in what is, nothing changed. The rubber band held. But I wanted to show you this. I looked at this earlier today and I thought, man, today had two phenomenal examples of sort of the pros and cons of using a 1 minute. While it can certainly be helpful and absolutely work to give some level of confirmation, today was perfect. On the downside, it showed you that even on a 1 minute, I think we even said that on the last time we talked about this. I'm like, there's no way to know that if a 1 minute candle has a 10 or a 15-point run in a single 1 minute period, like that's a lot to overtake on the other end to get your confirmation. So, and then here it just messed around. It went sideways, but you don't know that it's gonna go sideways once it gets there. And so, yeah, if you literally just had limit orders sitting, so rubber band was at 98. If you had limit orders sitting at say 97 and 97 and a quarter, right? Your total heat for this
97 and a
entire
half.
25 minutes was 3 ticks. What was that?
97.5 is where I had mine.
Yeah, perfect. So your whole amount of heat was 2 ticks for 20 minutes. Like, I don't care if it goes against me 2 ticks 19 times. As long as it's not like committing and breaking above whatever the key level is, hurdle, has to hold, rubber band, etc. Like, if it's not getting through it, then I don't care that it goes against me a couple ticks, couple points. That's fine. Plus, I think we even had at the time, I believe there was a it's like high mid 3 or something, high mid 2. It was up here like 70, if I remember correctly. Yeah, let's see. Just go back. High mid 2. So high mid 2 was at 72. I was focused on that. We finally did get kind of up closer to it, but obviously much later in the day. Yeah, I was kind of looking at it personally. I was looking at it more as a zone again. I said, well, okay. And again, it's kind of like aggressive, nominal, conservative, right? So I did look at this whole zone here because this is where the core comes in really nicely. It sort of shines in a way that's more based off of just pure math and algorithm. So price is price, but sometimes it just wiggles around a little bit. Cool. But I wanted to go over that. That was my one real thing to cover this evening, because you can get confirmation, but it looks like it looks when it looks. Like I can't control how it all plays out in the end.
Right.
Anybody got any questions based off that? We may have kind of jumped in where maybe somebody's lost, but if you are, let's talk about it. Having weird like Ninja Trader issues over here. Weird. All right. All right. Anybody else? Anything you want to cover topic wise? That was my one topic tonight. How did everybody else do today? Did anybody else get anything else in? Any questions about why you did what you did? Anything to help your trading a little better? All righty. Well,
Thanks for your time, George.
we don't have anything. Yeah, I won't keep everyone, that's for sure.
I have a question.
Go have some ice cream. Yeah.
On MQ.
Yeah.
Without necessary trade, did you have a has to hold in there? Didn't you have a hurdle in there that you touched?
I told you I'm having like ninja stuff. I got to reset tonight. I lost several things that I had placed. Let me go if I can get this thing to close. What's happening here?
I just remember that one big long wick down, and then you were all happy about the 100-point run.
Yeah, this was the has to hold. So we had this. And then there was a hurdle. Yeah, it's up to the top. Yeah, I say it got deleted too. It's up here at, which they haven't broken it yet. It's up here at 460. Let me double check that. That sounds off. I think it was like set 464. 465. So yeah, they're still, and it's still live and running. Yeah, it's up here at 465. If that's the one you're thinking about.
No, that isn't the one I was thinking about.
No?
I was thinking about when didn't you have a hurdle like 9?
Oh, it doesn't even have my second scenario in here. Oh yeah, it deleted my whole second scenario.
A week, there was a wick all the way down. Okay, I thought there was a hurdle. Never mind.
I'm glad we're covering this though, because I'm trying to recreate stuff and then save my charts again because I'm not sure what happened there. Yeah, second scenario was 258, 301, and 344. But I know you guys all take stellar notes and you already knew this. So there you go. Here's my other scenario. Cool. There we go. That looks better. Back to normal. And as I was going to ask just for input, is this helpful for you guys? The knowing when that scenario is dead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't want people targeting something that's just not worth targeting anymore.
I think watching it for about a week now, the only caveat is once George leaves at 11, you just got to know that he may not be there to mark the next one red when it's blown. So just keep that in mind once he checks out for the day.
And the best way to know, which you guys have been here long enough, most of you probably should. Matter of fact, a little pop quiz. What's one of the ways to know that a scenario is dead? There's a couple different for sure, but like, what's one of them? Who's got some thoughts on that? Don't be shy.
The has to hold gets blown.
Asshole to get blown. That's one. Yep.
Once you get the first target and it goes back down below the decision point, I think that would cause it to blow too.
Yep. That's the big and the most common one right there. Because as soon as we get to first target, what do I say on repeat every day? Okay, the decision point is now the has to hold. So as soon as you blow back through that decision point, then it's over. That scenario is dead. It's not to say that, and I usually try to make a point on the days that it is something that we need to watch for, that this could probably be the end, right? Like if we get back below the decision point, like even today, I said that if we get back below today's decision point around, I was on the ES, around 31, at 68.31, if we get back below that and I'm not here, just know that we have lost all support. I'm like, oh, it wasn't 31. What was it? 54? 54. There it is. 69.54. If we get back below 69.54 on the ES, it was the decision point to go up to the second scenario. Not only is the scenario dead, but they're going to lose everything they have in momentum, and we're no longer into intraday trading anymore. We've gone into swing trading, and the swing trading thing could go down significantly, was what I had mentioned. So I do try to make a point of movements like that. You just got to take notes and just realize, like, okay, if we lose 69.54 here in the middle of today's trade, like if they'd have gone up to say second target, and then I'll just use the NQ as an example. If they'd have gone to say second target up near expected high, never made it to rubber band, and they sunk back below the 3 a.m. bar, which was really rather key today. And that's it. Like, you could chase it if you want, but what are you chasing it for? And the thought was that you'd have to start using the core. You got to take profit POC, take profit at midpoints, take profit at expected low, because that thing could start sinking if momentum is there. But yeah, I think those are the two key areas. Well, here you go. Here's another pop quiz. Somebody else answer. If we go to first target and so let's take a scenario. If we go to first target and we close back below the decision point by, again, not just one or two candles, but like a significant momentum downward, is that scenario dead? Yes. What happens if we go to second target and then do the same thing? Somebody else answer.
Yeah, I tried. Yes.
Yes. What if we go to the rubber band and do the same thing?
Yes.
Yes. That's it. So if I'm not here, to Bob's point, but we've reached 1, 2, or 3, then like we get back below here, the scenario is dead. And then if you don't know what to do after that, because maybe we haven't said anything, maybe it's getting into some other realm, because like take the NQ for instance, this wouldn't have made a whole lot of sense to try to counter trend, except for at the rubber band and at the hurdle. Those are literally it. Those are your options. And since we haven't been to the hurdle, not by a long shot, has it gone through it? Oh. Okay. So we got to see what tomorrow yields. Because if we can't get through here, it's a hurdle. So if we can't get through here, then yes, the potential for going back down the other way is on the table. And they'll tell us tomorrow, and they'll give us, they'll give us something, maybe targets up here, maybe a minor has to hold around here, and like who knows? But we'll find out. We'll let the market tell us.
Is there any way we can do some charts that's like on replay?
Charts on replay? Yes. I could well, not this Monday. I'm gone next Monday. Yeah, I'll work on that. Maybe 2 Mondays from now.
And the
That'll
answer,
work. Only reason I asked you that because like I was trying to explain something to my son one day, and he just couldn't get it, and I was like, "Well,
Sure.
let's do it on replay, and I can show you what I'm talking about." And then he was like, "Oh, that was simple," but he just couldn't get it until actually seen it.
Because you can do it. Because I think Bob had mentioned this last week. Chartcast shows up in replay.
yeah, the one thing you have to remember is if you go back too far, it'll be a different contract. But we keep track of all that historical data. So if you switch to contract, it will actually pick up all the old stuff from like 3 months ago. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, we've done a couple playback sessions, maybe once or twice early on in the room. And I forgot we did that. Those were actually pretty dang helpful because you were able to speed it up a little bit and say, okay, here's what the market just gave us. What would you guys do? And that was actually good. So I'm glad Jay brought that up. Maybe in a couple weeks we can do it when you get back.
Yeah. All right. Jonesy, you good? Sleep. Not sure if you're talking or not. I guess you can type it in. You good, Ryan?
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm good. Everything you did was great. Like I said, I'm just gonna, settle in and be better tomorrow.
It always looks funny, right? At the end of the day, in hindsight, you're just like,
Oh
why didn't
yeah,
I just load up? Why didn't
yeah,
I just load up?
I couldn't find a spot to get back in, and then it's just like I just feel like every pullback is not low enough, and every run up, I'm like, why didn't I get in on that pullback? And it's just, well, there wasn't a has to hold. There
Fascinating
wasn't
about that statement, though, is that you're learning. You're learning that the market does exactly that. So I like. I mean, it sucks in some respect, but at the same time, that's a good thing. It'll keep you alive in this business.
Yeah.
Is recognizing that they do that, and they will do that.
Yeah.
You just can't panic on the moments when they do pull back. You can't automatically like as it's running. I feel like this happens so frequently, right? As it's going away from you, people are so anxious to get in, right?
Mhm.
Because they see the targets, they want to get there so badly. And so as soon as you get that market where it turns, comes back, especially something to like a has to hold or a decision point, because they already maybe went through a decision point, already committed, it already said, yes, we're good. So it got through the decision point, made it through the hurdle, and then suddenly it turns and people are like, I was so desperate to get in as it was going up because it's almost like the market was confirming what I want to happen. But now that it's turned, it's coming back to what are these key areas? Like, I don't know if I want to actually get in now. Like, really?
Sure.
Really? They're literally giving you what you want, which is a better price.
No, that was one of your good comments. Was you had talked about some pullback, like 930 area or whatever, and it was exactly that. Just kind of like, if you really wanted to be long and you were like ready to get in up here, like why would you not want to buy it at a discount? Why would you not be wanting to purchase this item at this much lower price? It's so much better on sale, and it's hard. It's hard. It's just one of those mind things you'll get better at, I think, or I will. I mean.
That's just how I view it, right? Like, and again, people kind of have to figure out what works for their own personal. Like, you still base it off of what is. The has to hold is the has to hold. Like you, me, the rest of the world, we don't get a say in that. But as long as you're, striving for, working with that information and not against that information, then yeah, you're going to have your own personal journey and say, look, I'm just the guy who needs a little bit of confirmation. Okay, that's you. Like, you got to dig in to your own psyche a little bit. You have to recognize that you are just too darn uncomfortable doing trades in certain ways. But as long as you don't lose sight of what is factual, you know, things like decision points and has to holds and, you know, again, certainly targets, they are what they are. Like, we don't get to pick them and choose them and change them. And you just gotta, I don't know, watch whatever it is you watch to stay comfortable, and usually comfort in a lot of times shows its ugly head when people just trade too much size. When you trade too much size and you're just beside yourself and you can't think straight. Jones, you can't get my microphone to work. Okay. All right. No worries. All right, folks. Let's see what the market has for us in the morning. We'll do it all over again.
Good night.